competency-based question I am going to do. So it will happen in Bloom's taxonomy. Alright, so I will do that. But if you want it now also, you can simply say the child was able to, let's say, multiply a 3-digit number by a 4-digit number. That also can go under competency. The child was able to classify non-living things from living things. That is competency.
Question would be.
This is what I told you is the learning outcome. So the question will be like that. Classify the given words as nouns or verbs. Okay, so when the child is classifying, I am giving a list of verbs, right? 10 words. And what is the competency here? That the child is able to identify words as nouns or verbs. Okay? Match the names of given animals with their sounds or homes. Okay? So that is my question. Got it? It is allowed. Yes.
So many competency-based questions, so we have to mention as per the different questions for.
So now I'll tell you one thing why you have these doubts, and I'm happy that you have the doubts. See, listen to me. So the very important, the heart of all this, okay, is that when you write a lesson plan and you mention certain learning outcomes, number one important is your learning outcome. I already told you. Learning outcome is something that you expect a child to do, perform, demonstrate, calculate, identify, present at the end of the topic. Now the second important thing is, like I told you, there's also something called as LAR cycle. You know the LAR cycle? LAAR. Any guesses? L stands for? Anyway, so let's not go to it now. Let's see. LAR cycle. L stands for learning outcomes, of course, and R stands for reflection, that is reasoning or reviewing. So now remember, I was talking about learning outcomes. You write down your learning outcomes, but I told you your job doesn't end unless you assess the child. Now it is very crucial, very important that in your blueprint you are framing questions directly mapped with your LOs. Please understand this. If you are teaching something with a purpose in mind, that this should be the outcome, but you are not testing it, you are not assessing it, then the whole process is a waste. So your doubts were because how to frame a question or what? Directly your question should be what? If you have written in your learning outcome that at the end of this chapter or by the end of this chapter, the child will be able to go to the market and purchase vegetables and also calculate the amount that the shopkeeper returns, suppose. Okay, it can be framed in a better way also, but I am giving you an example. Then in the question paper, there should be a question which is testing the child's knowledge about calculation, about subtraction, about weighing. Otherwise, it makes no sense. So I repeat that your learning outcomes should directly be mapped with your assessment. That is very essential. Now, which are the verbs that you must use for which level is what I am going to show. And I think I mentioned it before. If you know Bloom, I am sure you know the 3 domains. What are the 3 domains?
Affective, psychomotor.
Very good one. So now who will tell me what is the affective domain? What is the affective domain? Emotions. That's nice. All of you should know this and never forget this. Never forget this. This is for you, this is for your students, this is for your family also. You start understanding people better, trust me. Because in education, every level, when you do your ECCED, okay, there is a paper for psychology, there is a subject psychology, child psychology. You do your DEd, child psychology. You do your BEd, child psychology. You do your master's, psychology. You do your MPhil, psychology. And then people sometimes go for PhD also with psychology. But my point is that this helps you in real life. You start empathizing with people. You start understanding the perspective of the other person. You start understanding the mood swings of the other person. Because one thing we all must remember is school is not a corporate world. For God's sake, get this thought out of your mind. Get it out of your mind if you have it. I really don't appreciate it. School is about emotions. School is about children. School is about their psychology. School is about their mental health. Alright? And everything else comes from it. There is nothing called roti kapda or makan. It is all about love and understanding. I will give you roti kapda and makan. I will give you 2 makans. I will give you 10 rotis. I will give you 10 sets of clothes. But I won't give you people. And I won't won't give you love, when I won't give you concern and care and emotions, how much will you enjoy? That is something we have to understand for our children. They are children. Okay, they are children. So this is very important. Alright, so as teachers, any teacher, who is the most popular teacher, do you know? Of course, one criteria is that she should be good at the content. But knowing something doesn't make you a best teacher. So be able to deliver it with their words, with their expectations, for their level, with their methods, that is important. And while doing this, are you empathetic? Are you really loving them? The language of the heart is very different. It's not written in any books. It only has to be felt. Right? And teachers must know the language of the heart. The language of love and heart is what is needed in all classrooms. This we must understand. Only then we are fit for this profession. I hope you agree. And you must. Right? You can't love your children. You can't teach your children without having love. Then you are superficial. So, I was asking you who is the most popular teacher. There are some teachers who you don't realize, but when you mention their name on the teacher's day or some other day, and children clap, hey, they cheer so much for those teachers. But you should think, what is so special about her? And if there is something different, let me learn it. Right? I'm sure there is something new. Giving chocolates to children will not make you popular. Once it may happen, not always. That is the way of motivating. But there are ways beyond that. So we'll go to the last part of our, what happened to this one? Number 14, 15 also is done. I think we are at bibliography or what?
Ma'am, और नीचे
Next.
Graphic organizer. What is graphic organizer? Any graphic, any pictures, any statistics. For example, mind map,
Flowchart.
concept map. So again, I am not going what is mind map, starts from the center and moves out in branching, and concept map is a flow. I am not getting into that, okay? I am sure you know that. These are your graphics. You show them even the bar graphs, you show them a pie chart, things like that. Okay? Those are the graphic things that is. Now, is it mandatory to have it for every chapter and every lesson? No. Not mandatory. Recommended, but not mandatory. Okay, again you have to be very creative and unique. Next is, so now your additional information can go for your GPA also. You cannot compartmentalize. Just like I know of people who will have 3 bhajis in their plate, and what they do is with that chapati they will eat the first bhaji, finish it, then go for the second bhaji, then finish it, then go for the next bhaji and finish it. And then I always wonder that is it a different stomach? Are there compartments in the stomach? After all, it is one and the same. In fact, you have to enjoy the variety of taste, and so you will have the, let's say, the leafy vegetable and the whatever, sprouts and things. Okay, the fruit vegetable, one morsel, and it becomes more enjoyable. This is what I feel. Right? Similarly, subjects also. There is no compartment for mathematics, and then door is closed. Now geography will open. That can happen only in the timetable. Geography teacher goes out and mathematics teacher comes in. But the teacher also, now when I give you a 5-minute break, you are so happy. Now we are already waiting. When is she going to tell us? Will you give a break? In 9 periods. Before one teacher goes out, the other one is ready. There are schools where in between breaks are given. Because at least let that knowledge, that information, those ideas register in your mind. Isn't it? And give them a little time for recap, for reflection. 5 minutes, if not much. And then the other subject should begin. Ideally, that is the way. Okay, that is what research says. So that review, reflection doesn't happen. So, additional information is something extra that you give. And now we go to the important part, assessment. I have already mentioned assessment several times. And I said that your teaching, your DLP cannot be complete without assessment. Quickly, I will give you example of formative and summative. And then weightage in annual examination is actually, as per my personal opinion, not required, not advised. But I may be wrong. So now what is formative assessment? Again, you've been very good, okay? You've given me a lot of answers, you've given me a lot of correct answers. Alright, so now this time also I'm sure somebody will know what is formative assessment.
Informal.
Now I'm not taking answers like this till you raise your arm. Now I know who knows the the answer. I am not asking you. I am asking someone who has not answered today. So again, I am telling you, teachers can do this, right? And then they miss, so you miss the chance. Sometimes a sense of humor also is required. Being witty also is required. And that is why I said creativity cannot be planned. I am writing a lesson plan and you are saying now, no going away from that lesson plan, follow it. Or don't say that. When I go to the class, I think of something new. Or my children make me think of something new. I can give you another 100 things that can be used in this room for teaching. And I mean it. I can do it. And I'm sure most of you can do it. But you need to have the interest for it, the passion for it. Right? So, let's come to formative assessment. Anybody can answer. That was just an example. Who wants to answer?
Informal.
Yes, ma'am. Vishali ma'am. So, by the way, I know Vishali ma'am very well because we work together. Yes, Vishali ma'am. Activities. What? I don't accept one word answers. I'm saying what is formative assessment? Shipra ma'am.
Assessing the child in the
Thank you, Vishali ma'am.
like by taking activity.
I didn't say that to you. I'm just telling them that you have to be like that in the class. So yes.
Assessing a child on the basis of the activity done by the
All
child
right,
on
not
a particular
wrong.
topic.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Quiz. Fine. Again, the one word answers. You know what happens? Children don't learn to speak in complete sentences. They don't learn grammar. They don't learn structure. That is why you should train them actually. Huh? There. Someone behind is answering. I'm glad. Yes. Very nice. She deserves a clap. Anisha, thank you. So now I am asking questions to children who are sitting on the first bench also, in the middle also, behind also, in the corner also. And I know most of you are practicing by roll number and all that. That's good. That's a good practice. So we come back to formative assessment. Now formative, please note the word again. Just like we saw learning outcome. Formative. Formative actually means how the personality of the child is being shaped and formed. Formative assessment teachers includes dance and drama also. If I am good at music, my personality is being formed. Please understand that even Sachin Tendulkar requires intelligence to bat. He has to judge the bowler. He has to judge the weather. He has to see the direction of the wind. He has to see the movement of the arm of the bowler. He has to see whether the ball is going to spin or no. He has to see the run-up of the bowler. He has to see the wetness or the moisture in the ground. So this requires intelligence. He also has to see the run rate that is required. He has to think about the field placement. He has to see the opponent, that means the runner on the other side. Do you understand? People say sports mein kya rakha hai? Do you know sports requires a lot of intelligence, for that matter anything. Any skill, music also, whether it is vocal or an instrument. Everything has depth in it. Right? So, formative assessment is something that you assess while a child is doing regularly, continuously. Now, I'll go a little more into it. So, formative assessment is something that happens at any time. It need not be planned. I am standing here, and that brings me to the new terminology, that is 360 degrees holistic progress card, which has already become mandatory for grade 1 and 2 teachers. 24-25 you will have it. Grade 1 and 2, how many teachers are there? It is mandatory for you. HPC. Please visit CBSE websites and see HPC. 360 degrees holistic progress card. Now mathematics teachers know what is 360. Right? So it is
Yesterday it has been
comprehensive.
shared.
It is covering every aspect of the child. So you cannot say that because in English he is failing, he is not good, or mathematics is not. No. Now, if my child goes and helps somebody, that also should be noted. A child falls down, another one goes to his house or calls him or says that he's fallen down and he's got hurt and I'm going to help him to learn or to write because it is exam time. That also should be noted because that is also emotions, that is also empathy, that is also value. Now, the report card that will be generated, which is the progress card that will be generated, will have some progress mentioned in it. Okay, and what sort of progress? Anything that is changing and improving the personality of the child is expected to be noted down over there. Even if the child is reading 10 library books in a year, others are reading 1 or 2, that becomes a special teacher. If the child is excellent in music or sports or art, that becomes. And from there, perhaps you may realize that this child is inclined towards this profession or vocation. I hope you are getting the point. So formative assessment is that assessment which you have to keep noting from time to time, and manually it is very difficult. So with time, artificial intelligence is going to be used for all this. Also realize that we are in a way preparing the child's portfolio. The portfolio is going to stay with the child for a lifetime. And that is why CBSE has recommended one unique number for every student of India. Have you read it in the newspaper? There will be a unique ID created for every child in this country, wherein a repository will be created, and just like the DigiLocker where you have your driving license and your smart cards and Aadhaar card and things like that, child will have everything in one place. He goes to any country of the world, any state of the country, he can simply open his DigiLocker and show that in grade 1 this is it, grade 3 it is like that, grade 9 I was like that, grade 10 I did this experiment, grade 4 I won this award, things like that. I hope I am clear. That is formative assessment. How the personality is being formed in children. Then what is summative? Again we will see the word. You see the word, you will understand. Yes?
At the end of the year.
Okay, so pay attention. Summative. So it is
Return.
summing up. When do you sum up? At the end. Conclusion. So it can be end of the term. So which means your examples were correct. So you perform an activity, you take a quiz, you take a dance competition, you take a handwriting competition, you take a debate competition, you have your patriotic song competition over here, you have mass treaty, you have yoga celebration. All these are formative assessments. There is no exhaustive list, there is only a suggestive list. I hope I am clear.
Yes.
I cannot tell you, see these are 10 things, they are formative assessment. No. There is no exhaustive list. That is suggestive. You can add n number of things to it on your own. A creative teacher can add many more things to it. Something that is not written anywhere also can come in the list. Possible. Even if the child is in the bus and doing something different, okay, that is also added. In the personal life also, I am seeing a banana skin fallen over here and I feel that somebody should not slip and I am picking it up and putting it away. That is also my personality. Important because that is my duty, that is my responsibility, that is global outlook also, in terms of social, not the world. Right? So that is formative assessment. Summative, what happens end of the term? Usually a pen and paper test. Summative is usually a pen and paper test. Alright? So summative assessment happens at the end of the term, end of the year. That is summative. Now, there is an example which is very famous. It's not mine, it's on the net, but I loved it and so I want to share it. So what is summative and formative will never forget. Like I told you, objective and outcome, remember the athlete who stands at the start line, that is the objective, finish line is the outcome. So then it becomes easy to, you know, there are different methods and means of remembering things. So you make a short form, you make acronyms, you have mnemonics, right? You know it, right? They used to say, my very educated mother just showed me 9 planets, this, lip cure, what is lip cure? Things like that. So mnemonics. Okay? So formative assessment and summative assessment are the two types of assessments. But to remember formative assessment, I am giving you an example. For example, the one on the net says that they talk about the soup, I think. They talk about the soup. So when the chef prepares the soup, when the chef tastes the soup, when the chef tastes the soup, that is formative assessment. When the guest tastes the soup, that is summative assessment. Alright? I am repeating this in a simpler way. So, suppose Deepali ma'am is going to invite me to have food at her place and she will make vegetarian biryani because I will not eat if it is non-vegetarian. Deepali ma'am,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
suggesting.
Yes. Noted, ma'am.
Alright, so okay. That's, don't take that seriously. So let's say she's going to prepare veg biryani for me and she feels that I should have the best biryani It should taste very good. Okay, it should be something really very sumptuous and delicious. So what she does is she will pay attention right from the beginning. So the quantity of water, okay, she'll check whether it is right. She might check whether the appropriate spices are used and the ratio and the proportion of spices are correct. She might check how much chili powder is used. She might check how much, let's say, consistency of the rice. She may check the salt that is there. Okay, things like that. Got it? So I know a little bit of cooking in that case. So you don't even laugh. So the point is, when she is doing this, in between if she is checking, she may taste it also. Then that is called as formative assessment. Why? Because if something goes wrong, she can mend it. Okay, so I think I need some more water, or I think that's more water, so then I need to use some steam or some other way now to mend it. Or it is spicy, so then how do I cope up for that? Or I think the salt, a little bit more pinch of salt is required in that. Things like that. Are you understanding?
Yes.
That is formative assessment. In formative assessment, what happens? Time to time, when you conduct your first quiz in the class or your first MCQ test, you realize that okay, they are able to subtract. Okay, but when it is subtraction with this borrowing, then they are not able to do it. So you are maintaining it. You can still repair. You have time. So that is one meaning. During the year also it happens. And the second is summative assessment. Grade 10, one exam happens. See what happened in RTE 2010. I already told you, no detection. So everybody had this complaint. Bacha fail ही नहीं होता. Not that we like when they fail, but if they don't have those competencies and they are going from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 8, and in grade 8 and 9 suddenly what happened? 20 children are failing out of 100. Summative assessment हो गया. After 9 years you are actually checking. Okay, बिरयानी तो बन गई, तीखी भी हो गई, and I am going. I don't eat spicy food, ma'am. I can't have it. आप होटल से ही मंगाओ. You got it. So that is a failure. So summative assessment failures are more possible, and not that it is a wrong method. That it has its own importance. All right, learning happens over there also. But for checkpoints, for mending the ways, for repairing, for that formative assessments are considered more important. So summative is something that happens at the end. Grade 10, then grade 9, 10, you feel that oh, this boy doesn't even know factorization. He doesn't know the concept of fractions. He doesn't know that it is part of a whole. So then you don't have time to teach him. You will say that middle school वालों ने नहीं पढ़ाया. They say that primary वालों ने नहीं पढ़ाया. They say that घर वाले ऐसे ही थे. Middle school में तो कुछ सिखाया. So that goes on and on and on, right? But if formative assessment is there, then checkpoints are there, and there is scope for repair and maintenance. So I hope I am clear. Yes. So formative assessment also is your SEA, subject enrichment activity. Formative assessment is also your multiple assessment, correct? And if anybody tells you formative assessment में pen and paper नहीं होता है, that is wrong. It is allowed, but it need not be an elaborate test. Okay, if I am giving some 10 fill in the blanks, pen and paper, it is allowed, but it is formative, smaller scale, time to time. I can give 10 fill in the blanks after each chapter. That becomes my formative, or 10 MCQs after each chapter. I hope you are getting it. Then out of those 5 chapters, 50 fill in the blanks are there. In my summative assessment, I will pick one from each chapter. That becomes my summative. I hope I am clear. Yes.
So half-yearly examinations will be summative or formative exams?
Summative.
They understood the concept.
Ma'am, in fact, NEP says that there should be no timetable for formative assessment. Usually they say that okay, second week of August this exam is there. But ideally you should not give a timetable. We do it for different reasons, for records and documentation. Children should not miss. But we should only say that between this day and this day there will be a test that will happen. But this day, this time, this hour, not recommended. Because formative assessments are without preparation. They are checkpoints. So now, weightage in annual examination, again, weightage may or may not be given. You cannot always give the weightage prior. Okay, but in the blueprint, definitely you can mention. And then bibliography. So bibliography is what? If you have taken help of any encyclopedia, any Wikipedia, any other textbook, complementary, supplementary, you took something from a newspaper, or you took something from a presented paper, you took help from any another book or resource, then that is mentioned in bibliography. Okay, so is that the last one?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll go to the PPT, but I want to know from you, very honestly, we can go ahead for how much time? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours?
We can.
I am comfortable till 5, ma'am. But I know you are not, and I don't expect that. Please feel free to tell me. I don't want to scare you, but there may be another 50, 60 slides. So what I will do, I will not explain the slides. Just for you to get an idea, I will run you through the slides. Alright? Okay. Most of the slides are not there anywhere on the internet. They are not copied slides. They are created slides. Unless there is some statistics. So please take a look. So ma'am, we will go fast. So that's the format. We don't want to see that now. Format is there in the template. One by one. Huh?
Okay.
Now what I will do, if you remember the overview, I have listed out on one or two things as per NABET, because NABET assessment is going to happen in March. So as per NABET, mostly we have covered everything. There is something called as VAR, okay, and quality objectives, which I need to speak a little. So I'll speak about that, but other things, self-study. So that's okay. Next one. Yes, definitely they are all interlinked. Okay. Now we know objectives, outcomes. Please go back.
Back.
Back. So these are learning outcomes. I have explained everything to you. This slide will make it more clear. So like I told you, learning objectives are something that used to happen mostly in the 70s, 80s, okay. But learning outcomes are something that we are focusing more on. Learning objectives are more about the teacher. Learning outcomes are more about the student. Learning objectives are from the teacher's preparation and perspective. Learning outcomes are the end product. Learning objectives are the initial plan. So these are the major differences. Next. So some more different. Go back please. Yeah, so that is the expected goal, but this side you will see the result. So there it is the intention of the teacher or the facilitator, but this side, there's one thing which you should know, that your outcome should be SMART. By now you know what is SMART? S stands for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for
Relevant.
reliable, and T for
Time.
Very good. Smart teachers, smart objectives, smart outcomes. Next. Go back please. Yeah, next one. No, next. Slide 16. Slide 16. So now this is as per NABET. This is as per NABET. So please pay attention to this.
I'll change it.
NABET assessors
I'll
are
change
always, because let me tell you again, as a mandate in RTE 2010, law was floated in 2009, law was implemented in 2010 April. Okay, RTE, right to education. In that law, there is a chapter which talks about inclusive education. Inclusive education means the right of every child to be in the classroom, whether he is handicapped or challenged or special or what. And so the terminology of CWSN came up. What is CWSN? Now these terms, handicapped and all are not allowed. So CWSN is
Child with special needs.
Children with special needs. Now somebody was, I think someone mentioned it also in the morning. So these children with special needs, are you also catering to them? If they cannot sit for long, suppose a child is having some problem with the eyesight, then are you allowing that child to sit ahead somewhere? Child is having some auditory problem, then what are you doing for that child? Okay, these things are to be mentioned in your lesson. Are you giving them more time to answer the paper? Are you giving them more time to complete the notes? Are you giving them a peer mentor? These are ideas. Somebody was saying, what can we do? I don't remember. These are things that you can do. There's a booklet also. I hope I'm clear. I don't remember what someone asked in the morning. So please go to the next one. Yes. Special children includes the advanced learners, like I said, the gifted students. Yes. Anybody who is different from normal, different from average is special. I'm not saying challenged, special, not challenged. By the way, why it is essential? One is of course empathy, being human. But second is that as a part of this, government has given certain relaxation to this kind of kids. Alright? So the procedure has to begin early. And a government hospital like KEM only is authorized to certify the child. So if a child is having certain handicap and KEM has given a certificate, then that child, for example, can get extra 1 hour for writing the paper, even in the board exam. That child, for example, is allowed to sit on the ground floor instead of going to the 5th floor. It's a paraplegic child, some physical handicap sort of thing. So those sort of, or that child may be given a scribe. What is scribe? Scribe is a
Person who will write and
Okay, so you give them a writer. Writer, who gives the writer? Child can select, school also can give. Writer should be 1 grade below. So if there is a grade 5 child who is having certain problem and is allowed a scribe, and the scribe has to be someone from grade 4. That is the rule. So there are rules like that. It's all mentioned in that inclusive thing. Okay, I'm not going deep again, but you must read this. Precious is the precious thing you can find on your mobile also. If you type precious, you get everything. There's an app also. How to identify, how to detect. And the rule says, just for you to see, in our lesson plan there is something called as GK and extra information. So I have been giving you a lot of extra information. And one more thing I want to share with you is that only a child with 40% or more handicap gets the relaxations. 40%. Means there is a problem with the eyesight or there is a problem with the hearing, but it is 20%, 30%. That child doesn't get the benefit. 40% or more with certificate from a medical professional gets the benefit. That's the rule. That's the law, not rule. I hope you know. Law is when it is tabled in 2 houses of the parliament, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. Becomes a law. You cannot break it. Then there are punishments. Right? Rule can be broken, you say sorry. Okay. Next. No, I am not trying to say break rules. Okay, so I told you, these are the manuals. Please remember, please for God's sake have these with them. Your job will be very easy. And once you start referring to them, then you don't have to. Later on, you will know the learning outcomes by heart. These are all the teacher resources available for free. Free. And for every chapter and topic, they have learning outcomes. And by the way, learning outcomes for CWS and children are also ready in this. You don't even have to use your intelligence and everything. Everything is there. Grade wise. So now these are some examples. Somebody was asking CWS and what can be done. Ma'am, it is all there in the booklet. Will you go ahead? These are also examples. This is how you prepare. Please go ahead. This is the methodology I was talking about. What you do first and what you do when lesson commences. Then there are some principles also. So generally there is something. If you have time, read Ozabel's Advanced Organizer. Ozabel, Ozabel's Advanced Organizer. If you have time, read it. When you are planning your lesson plan, these are things that you have to plan in the lesson. Next please. Integrated learning. You have scope for integrated learning. Meaning of integrated learning is also written there. Next please. Recapitulation is a must. Recapitulation should happen at the end of every period, by the way. Every period. And if time doesn't permit, or even if it permits, next time when you come back, please make it a habit to ask at least 1 or 2 questions of your previous. Last period, what did we do? Did you follow? So, can you now define this? Can you now classify this? Will you tell me something more about it? Do that, then go ahead. So that linkage happens. Linkage helps for better retention. When retention is better, recall is better. When recall is better, performance is better. When performance is better, it develops interest both for the teacher and the child. So because it's a cycle otherwise. That's the NAR cycle. So learning outcome, this goes on, this doesn't end. Cycle meaning no end. So first you frame your learning outcomes, then you perform your teaching learning activity or TLP. Then what happens? Assessment, you check whether everything is fine. After the assessment, you reflect. Now reflect on what?
Whatever you have
Reflect on your lesson plan first. Whether my lesson plan itself had flaws. Then mend it. Like SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, by the way, is NABET. Okay? So, when I am teaching a lesson, I made a lesson plan, I go to the class and I feel children are not so interested or they are not following what I am saying. There are too many doubts, they are blank faces, and I have to change my lesson plan. Okay, so that is SWOT analysis. Something is good, that is your strength. Alright? We don't focus much on opportunities and threats over here because it's a school that is actually a corporate term. It is used more in the HR field. Okay? SWOT analysis. But I hope the last cycle is clear. Go to the next one. Last cycle comes from experiential learning. That is very important in experiential learning. So now we come to WARC. I'll take 2 minutes for WARC. Now what is WARC?
Visual, auditory, read and write.
Yes. So in the morning I said that ideally I should have been writing on the board, and I usually do it, but today there is too much of time constraint. Okay, so let's not waste time. So I should have developed a summary over there. Okay, so I should have written right now VARK. What does V stand for?
Visual.
A stands for
Auditory.
R stands for read and
Reading,
write
writing.
both. And K stands for
Kinesthetic.
know the meaning?
Yes, ma'am.
Know the meaning. So when you are using something like I'm showing this one. You've seen it last time. Can someone help me hold this? Should I have one more? So now this one, hold it. So this one is an example of the. This one is an example of a story also. Story integrated pedagogy, because I am building a story. Okay, there is chronology in this. You know what is chronology?
Yes.
Sequence. Correct sequence. Okay, like a timeline. So first what happens, second what happens, third what happens. One. Second, this is a visual thing and colorful, so it is very appealing. That's my teaching aid also. Third, I can use it for English, I can use it for mathematics. So then where did Mowgli go? So who met him after that? Before that what happened? So you understand that I am teaching mathematics when I say before, after, up, down, small, big, tall. Alright, that is mathematics also. And I can talk about animals and trees and plants and forest land, integrated geography. I hope you are clear. Okay, so we are talking about visual learners over here. This appeals to the visual learners, but pictures are always loved by everybody and colors also. Who likes a black and white TV after all? Isn't it? Everybody wants a color TV, right? Or you are happy with black and white? Once in a while for your status you do it. Okay, so that is, yes, thank you so much. And the other one also, I'm sorry, but I don't have my So that's a technique. This is the tool, that's a technique. What is the technique? Technique is questioning technique. This technique could be describing, technique could be observation. So there is one, this is of course for the primary level. There is one about a sanctuary, I will not say zoo, and that's the seaside. And I can ask 100 questions based on this. I will not give any information. Or I will ask children to describe. So I'll say this is one team, this is one team. You give me 5 sentences. Now you will give me 5, but you will not repeat. And I want it to be more specific. Then I'll again give them some framework. Talk only about water. Talk only about this. So I hope you understand. Land, water, so many things can be covered. So, sometimes you need to do this. You need to work. Alright, so these are examples. The best ways to study which benefit oral learners. Oral, what is oral auditory? So they are transcribing handwritten notes into recordings, listening to podcasts, TED Talks, audiobooks, listening to debates, on the television, listening to the news, recordings, those things. I think you missed one. This is the visual. So these are examples, charts, illustrations, handouts, demonstrations, videos, documentations. Next, please. Next. So this is the read-write kind people. So reading, writing, taking notes. Okay, examples are there, explanations also there. So they will write diaries. Okay, they will write how much they spend. Some teachers must be writing after going home every day. They like to write somewhere that this day I spent this much or this happened or that. So they are the read-write kind of people. Next, please. Kinesthetic. So kinesthetic includes any kind of movement, not just on the ground, any kind. candidates trying to stretch their legs also. Now, next as per NABET. Where did you read these quality objectives?
Mission statement.
Mission statement of the school. Are they displayed somewhere in the school?
Yes.
Almanac and
Outside the
and
outside the boardroom.
Yes, very good. Nice. So if you know that any one of these or more, if you are covering, and you do cover, trust me. If you are teaching any value, write the quality objective of the value of patriotism was covered in this lesson. Finish, that's it. In your lesson plan. Okay, that's a value. The quality objective of let's say respect, value, or politeness, or punctuality was covered in this lesson. Like that. Or critical thinking and creativity, everybody knows. What is resilience? What is resilience?
To accept your failure.
No.
To accept your failure, and then you have
Understanding
to
about others. Understanding about
Not
others.
just accepting failure, no.
and trying to improve it.
Bouncing back. Bouncing back. After losing a match, if the player is going to come back next time only to win, that is resilience. After experiencing failure once, the person who stops is not resilient. With more force, with more vigor, with more preparation, with more enthusiasm, okay, with more strength, to come back. We want our children to be like that. They must never stop. Whether it is real life or school life, not real life. Okay, that is resilience. So, if you are training your child to accept and to come back, that is resilience. The child couldn't do something but is trying again, that is resilience. Next please. This is Bloom. Now, very important. Everybody sitting in this room, please learn this by heart. RUAAEC. You must learn at least this much. RUAAEC. What is RUAAEC? Now I tell you why it is important. These are the levels of learning. But what did I tell you? Your learning outcomes depend on this. So what else will depend on this? What else will depend on your learning outcomes? Assessment. Very important. If your assessment is not as per this, then your assessment is wrong. Because we said hotspots, slots, everything. So in this, understand and remember, they are the lower order questions. So what is the capital of India? I am only remembering. Lowest level. This kind of a question, if it is there in your question paper, you are catering to the lowest level of learning. I want my child to be creative. I should have said, what is the capital of India? And do you think it is the appropriate capital? Or do you have another suggestion? If yes, why? Now I am taking the child to another step, that is understanding the meaning of capital. So on what parameters is the capital decided? Is it the strategic location? Is it the size? Is it the population? Is it the financial status? Is it accessibility? Is it human and material resource? I hope you are getting, I am giving you an example. You take them to the next level. Then what happens? They start applying. Then, okay, it is like that. It should have been like applying. Analyzing. Can Nagpur be the capital of Maharashtra? Yes. Why yes? No. Why no? Instead of Mumbai, can Pune be the capital of Maharashtra? What it? So you start critically analyzing and evaluating under certain parameters. And then you come up with an answer. Yes, I think Pune can be the capital or should be the capital because this. So that is the creativity level. Creativity does not mean everyday inventing something. Everyday inventions are not possible. The creativity of a small word, a small idea. And I think I gave this example last time also. There is a girl in Pune itself, itself, Ankita Nagarkar. Please visit her. I am not actually her brand ambassador or anything, but Ankita Nagarkar, I am very fond of her because she already has a few patents on her name. And when did she get her first patent for what? Do you know? Do you know? Have I said it in this room? I don't remember. I told some teachers of this school. So Ankita Nagarkar was once using a stapler pin, that stapler, and she was just stapling some papers. While she was stapling the paper, she was in a hurry and there was a lot to do, and the pins got over. And she couldn't find the pin box. and she got frustrated. It took a lot of time. And she thought that there should be some mechanism to let me know beforehand that the pins are going to get over now. So she thought and thought about it, and she thought that the last 5 or 10 pins should be of a different color. So while I am using the stapler and I am stapling, there are 50 pins by the way in one set. Have you seen that?
Yes.
If you see, it's good. These things you should tell your children again. So while stapling, when the last 10 pins are there, suddenly there will be red color pins. So what do? I know it's going to get over. So I say, hey, pins are going to get over. Go get the box. Keep it ready. For this, she got a patent. For this idea, she got a patent. So the point I am arriving at is, you don't have to think something out of the world. In fact, patenting and design thinking is all about daily needs. My pet dog is not well and I am unable to carry him because he is so heavy. Then can I think of a device or a mechanism to put him on something which has wheels or something like that, the pulley or whatever. That is an idea. You got my point? So you have to encourage students for these little things. So sometimes they come to you and they will show you, for example, a red color dog or a yellow color dog. So instead of scolding, if we understand the perspective, what, how, then we might know that the child has a new idea, a different idea. It should be appreciated so that he extends the thought and not suppresses. Alright? So that is creativity, and it is there in every field, by the way. Every field. HM ma'am and Isha ma'am have told me that today they have been relieved from all other duties, so you continue. And by the way, I always, I several times, not always, but very often mention this thing. And I think I mentioned it in this room also. That when we are in school, you as teachers tell your children also, don't talk. And my grade 9 teacher also once said, go out of the class because you talk so much. That's what she did to me. She said, come on, you get up. You talk too much and two of you go out. And then what happens today? If I go to grade 9 and talk, what happens? I get paid for it. In the same class. Once they had put me out, today they are paying me for it. Why should I not speak? Isn't it? You got the humor, I hope so. Yes. So, once I was penalized, today I am paid and I am going to talk. Some more time, bear with me. So, I want to give you one idea because, one example, not idea. Because there are 3 domains like you told me. Affective, cognitive. So, mostly we talk about cognitive. But the other 2 are equally or more important. Because we know of examples where a child is very intelligent, scoring 90, 92, 95, 98% in grade 1 to 10, 1 to 9. Child is in grade 10. In grade 10, what happens? Child's most favorite person was the grandmother. Unfortunately, the grandmother passes away. The child is unable to cope with the emotions because his emotions were never challenged. The emotional quotient was never paid attention to. I don't mean any offense to anyone, but it's a fact. This has happened. So that child suddenly fails in grade. Now, IQ is still there, but EQ was not there. Or EQ couldn't surface, EQ couldn't be used. So you understand that emotional quotient is also important. Spiritual or social quotient is also important. And these days they have also come up with PQ, that is physical quotient. So you have everything in the world. You have 2-3 cars parked there at your house. You have a nice bungalow. Probably in every city of the country and maybe in Dubai also. You have a lot of food and you have maids at home, but your health is not good. Tell me what is the use? So that's why they said physical quotient is very important. Right? So these are different quotients that Benjamin Bloom also said. That is why HPC. Please understand the logic and the reasons behind all these changes. So Benjamin Bloom also spoke about physical and kinesthetic intelligence. We'll go to the next one. If time permits, I'll give you one example. So this is a little about Benjamin Bloom and this is the initial one that he had given and then it was changed by 2 other educationists. Next one. This is the correct one. Anderson and Rothwell were the 2 people who worked afterwards. When Benjamin Bloom here, the top 2 were different. So the sequence was different, nothing else. And then they studied and they said, no, it's not like that, it should be like this. So the new one is followed now. the new sequence, the levels of learning. Next, please. So now this is important. Now go back to that pyramid structure. Here you can see 1956 originally it was like that, but now 2001 onwards this is the one that is being used. Go to the next one. This is a work chart, please check. Work chart. Chart of works.
Yes, next.
Next one.
40.
40. 39 also has some examples.
Next.
Yeah, this one also will do. So basically when you ask questions based on recognizing and recalling, simple recall, okay, that is a remembering level. Then when you ask about facts, that is understanding. You ask about rules, ideas, facts, that is applying. You start applying. And then breaking down information, that is analysis. Okay? Judging the value of information, okay, giving your own opinions on it, that is evaluation. And then combining parts to make a new whole is creating. So this is how you have to frame your questions. Next please. Now, this is the direct help for you. This is ready, it's all there on the net, it's there in the manuals also. So you want to ask a remembering level question. You say count this, modify, they are basic questions. They are lower order thinking questions. Because I learned something and I just represent it or reproduce it. That's all that I do. I'm not using my intelligence for it. I've not added any value to it. I've not put my thought process in it. But when I classify or interpret or cite or report or illustrate, then I am one level ahead and I am understanding. Now you got the questions? None. Yes, next one.
Next.
Shilpa.
Savita.
Shweta.
She's Shweta.
So now the next level. Okay? See the evaluation level questions. Now that's a consolidated view. You can go to the next one. This is the consolidated view. At a glance you can see. Now all this is available. It's there in all the manuals. And keep this handy. Paste one copy in your book if you want. Becomes very easy. When you make your blueprint, in the blueprint, ideally, earlier in the blueprint you used to write comprehension question, knowledge question, application level. Remember? But instead of that, now this is explained. So then you will write 4 marks given for analysis, 2 marks given for knowledge-based questions. This is the previous one, that's why they are saying knowledge, which you should be remembering. And you write 3 marks for creativity, like that, for example. Got it? Blueprint is like that. Or question paper. But it will be mapped with your learning outcome. So in your learning outcome, what will you write? The child will be able to design a vase. Art teacher can write that. Design, creativity. I hope you are getting the next. Now I am not going. I taught all this. Experiential learning is also a pedagogy. PKP project is the best example. Again, I am not getting into it. Next, please. Storytelling. This is storytelling. Why do we do it? This is cohesive. It helps in understanding and retaining. Presents facts and ideas. Next. Objectives. This is why we use storytelling methodology. Now it. Many times they say that stories are only for children. But I am telling you that everybody loves stories. And it is the truth. Provided the storyteller is good. Isn't it? So these are some clear facts. Next please. Sports integrated pedagogy. This is the meaning and no, not so fast also. So please remember that it is for holistic development. All the domains are taken care, life skills are built, decision making. By the way, research says that sports people have 27 extra traits developed. Research. I'm not saying this. Research says this. Those who are in active sports, I'm not talking about the classroom level. You're a state, national, international champion, you've done a lot of sports. Those people have 27 different personality traits. That is why they are more resilient, more confident. And maybe that is also one of the reasons why I'm standing before you. Because in my entire school life, I was never on a stage. I started being on the stage only after grade 12. Okay? But today I am confident. Even if 1,000 people sit before me, I am okay. I don't mind. That is because of sports. More than education. Next. So these are the advantages. Sports people always love their teachers at school more. So you'll see that in most schools, Sports teachers, Mohini ma'am, Kirti ma'am, they enjoy this favoritism more than us. Next, toy-based pedagogy. Next, please. So these are the benefits. Like I told you, it comes the natural way. I'm sure everybody has seen children grow and you know about Jean Piaget, isn't it? Or sometimes they call him John Piaget also. So, how children learn. For example, even if there is a stick, they will take this. Let's say this is the stick, they will use it like a pistol, you know. Or if there's a ball that has gone under the cupboard, then I'm going to use my stick to fetch my ball. That is intelligence. That is learning. That is learning by experiment. That is learning by doing. I hope you realize those are the stages. So toys help in that kind of learning, exploring, finding out. Next, please. Next. I'm not getting deep into this. They are all independent sessions. Next. You should only have the idea. This one is very important. 14 May 2020. But there is a recent circular also that has come for AIL. Art integrated learning. Any doubt? This is the best circular. Everything is there. Why? How much? How many? By the way, grade 1 to 8 only one project is expected. The mandate is one project, but multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary. They are using transdisciplinary as a one project. Next, 9 and 10 it is one per subject, one project per subject. 9 and 10, 1 to 8, one for the year for one child. It could be individual, it could be group also. Next. No, we will not do this. No. Go ahead dividing. We'll take one example. So I'll give you one example of art integrated learning because you should understand what is transdisciplinary. So let's say for example, please go back now. Our topic is Earth. Okay, it must be a grade 4 topic perhaps or 3 or 5 like that. The topic is Earth. So let's see how we can take it across other subjects. In English, what will you do? For example, there can be hundreds of ideas. This is one. An alien lands on planet Earth, complete the story. So you have to write about Earth and aliens. And the alien said goodbye to the students before getting into the flying saucer. To the students of Akshara, to add. So this is English, but just sticking to the topic Earth. Mathematics. By the way, I hope you know that art doesn't mean only drawing and painting. Isn't it? Much more than that. So they have given an annexure. Check the annexure for it. What goes under that? Under mathematics, you can say about the time of sunrise and sunset in your city for 1 week and make a graph representing the same. Is it mathematics? Yes, it is. Is it about the Earth? Is it about rotation? It is. Okay. Conversion of time. Again. Next, please. Now, under science, what do you do? Perform an experiment to show how rotation and revolution take place. Then, why do mountaineers carry oxygen cylinders while climbing mountains, and divers also carry oxygen cylinders while going deep down in the oceans? Why is it like that? You go up also, you need oxygen. You go down also. Is it about the depth of the earth, the height, the altitude, the climate? So, we're talking about Earth again. And science. Then history and geography. Find out the origin of the earth, name the place. That is history. You're going back. And name the planets in our solar system. That is geography. And Kapyanasha, the art teacher, will know this. I'm not wasting time. I also told you that I'm not wasting time. Next. This is another example of the wheel. Next map. Similarly, so you draw a wheel, you talk about a rubber wheel, you talk about a metal wheel, you talk about a wooden wheel, you talk about a potter's wheel, you talk about the wheels of an aeroplane, the wheel of a bicycle, and things like that. Festivals. These are examples for you. Next, please. Next. How you assess the AIP? Just a template. Next. These are some things that were done by my children under our integrated project. All these. Next. These are again examples. So go ahead now. Subject specific. So grade wise also I have created examples. Particular page number, topic, subtopic also I have written, which I am not sharing now. of time. 1 minute, please go back. One more. Next. How many of you know of this Hivre Bazaar? 1, 2. Ahmednagar? Yes, ma'am. 3, 4. Hivre Bazaar. Ahmednagar. If you know Ahmednagar, in the district of Ahmednagar, very close to Shirur Taluka. Okay. Hivre Bazaar is close to Anna Hazare's place.
Radigas.
So Hivre Bazaar is a place, please understand, Hivre Bazaar is a place at Raleigh city also, where there was scarcity of rain. Okay, and these two people, both are Maharashtrians. Anna Hazare, because his name is different, was ex-army man, and Popatrao Pawar. These are two people who worked so hard over there that these two rural areas, Gaon, okay, these two villages have completely changed now, and there are people coming from several countries of the world to see these two villages because they are called as ideal villages, and because of all his hard work, and it is called as Kanta Mukta Gaon. No conflicts, no arguments, no fights, no alcohol. On the houses in Hivre Bazaar, the lady's name is written first, the man's name is written second. There are many good things like that. The drainage system is perfect. It is self-sufficient. They have everything that they need is there in the village. It's a complete remake of the two villages, and it is very close. By the way, it is just 2.5 to 3 hours from here. That's why I am telling you. Alright, so these are examples which we must give our children also. So, Hivre Bazaar, this Popatrao Pawarji has been conferred the title of Padma Shri. He is Padma Shri Popatrao Pawar. So, I'm not wasting time in explaining anything. Next. Okay. There are more slides also, right? So I'll stop at that unless you have questions. Anything that I have missed out as per the NABET or lesson plan of Akshara also, please bring it to my notice. We can quickly discuss that. And other than that also. Anybody wants to add something? Any teacher wants to add something? Or teacher ma'am, or Isha ma'am, or Divya ma'am? So that's why I said that don't be rigid about it. How will you have a model answer for sports? Definitely you will not have. But if you are teaching theory, which I don't think happens in the primary, but if you are teaching, for example, if you are teaching how many players are there in a football team, then the model answer will be there. Or what is the size of a basketball ground, then the model answer will be there. What is the size, what is the difference between a cricket ball and a football, for example, then the model answer will be there. But definitely, other than that, there could be rules of the game, there could be questions pertaining to equipment, there could be rules of the game being played. For that, model answers will be. So who bats first also is decided, right? Okay, so how many overs match? There are a lot of things that depend on that. So that sort of questions can have model answers. Model answer is just one exemplary thing according to my knowledge, if I am not mistaken. Because model answer actually is never written in the lesson plan. But when I heard respected principal ma'am saying it, I remember she said that you take one question and the perfect answer to it, model expected answer. Obviously it will be a close-ended question, so it could be a definition or a concept. Open-ended questions cannot have model answers because they are open-ended. You will have a flow of thoughts and it will be individual, so you cannot have a model answer for that, right? Any doubt otherwise? Just because you are tired, you are not raising the doubts, don't do that. It's a matter of the last few minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the art integrated examples, like I can tell you the story. Yes. When you are holding an lecture, we stick to maybe collage making, and every subject has to contribute to collage making. Is it compulsory?
So what happens is, I don't know whether I have the circular now. I may have it also. We will go through that. I'll share the circular with you. In this circular, there are 2 or 3 annexures. First, all this is mentioned. What are the topics to take, why to take, how many projects, and then it should be eco-friendly, and it should not be very expensive, and it should not be age appropriate, things like that. Okay, those are the characteristics. Then what happens in the annexure, they have written, they have classified it. So whether it is clay work, okay, so for example, if you are having a killa making competition during Diwali, that will go under history also, that will go under art also, that will go under clay work also. But then they have given numbers over there. So there will be a number 1.1, 1.1, 2.3, like that numbers are there. So those numbers are very important because that helps you to assess, that helps you to give the title, and that's how you record it. So art integrated learning, actually I had asked ma'am also last time, but there should be a session because it's a mandate. But this is team teaching. So you select a particular topic and different subject teachers sit together and they make a lesson plan. It could be a common lesson plan with different activities specific to their subjects, right? And then you put it under one name and you can have groups of 4, groups of 5, and individual also is allowed. The original plan said individual, but when this circular rolled out in 2020, suddenly COVID set in. So original said group in fact. So that group didn't work because everybody was confined to their own homes. So later on then they said that individual is allowed, group is also allowed. So if you have any doubts, you can share with me. I will give you more clarity on this and share some documents also. Yes, ma'am. Yes, in the lesson plan, what is to mention, like for example, ma'am, if you are using charts, posters, the examples that I showed, or if they are listening to some story, they are listening to some song, they are listening to some podcast, some TED talk, some speech, that will go for auditory learners. So the auditory learners were catered to by recording or by playing a song in the class. That could be an example. So all 4 has to be. No, not at all. Not at all. All the time, all 4 cannot be read. Try, but not compulsory. Not possible each time. Yes, that's it. That's it. I hope that you will be more confident in writing the lesson plan, at least to a certain extent. If I have helped you, then I am happy. So I am very thankful to the director sir and to principal ma'am and especially to HM ma'am. Actually, she was the one to recommend this session. Okay. So if you have not liked it, HM ma'am has liked it. If you have liked it, HM ma'am has liked it.
Let's give it so that we really liked it. Come on, everyone.
So I am intrinsically motivated. You will like it or you don't like it. I am happy. That's what matters. I am happy. So I am happy because knowledge is meant to be disseminated and shared and spread, right? So wish you all the best for the new academic year, and congratulations for completing the one that is just about to get over. Thank you very much, all of you.